right, this video is for the class Discovering Pre-Algebra Part 2, and it is for worksheet 1-2 for the topic of ratios and rates. All right, so you know the drill, pause, grade your work. Remember that ratios can be written in many different ways. This one is working with percents, okay? So we're going to be working a lot with percents in this class. So I'm going to really focus on those percent skills. All right, I am going to go ahead and zoom in and we'll get started. All right, so as you can see, I say round to the nearest percent. We kind of talked about this idea in class. All right, and there is a purpose I didn't put it on the worksheet. I wanted you to see these irrational numbers so that we could have a conversation in it in class. So just know that I wanted you to see these long numbers. I wanted you to write down these long numbers. And now that you're grading it, I kind of want you to go back round to the nearest percent, okay? It's all part of that learning experience. We're supposed to start diving into irrational numbers, and this worksheet's supposed to kind of start that conversation for us. So there are 56 coins, which include quarters, nickels, dimes, and there are 12 quarters. What is the ratio of quarters to total? Well, I got to put quarters first. There are 12 quarters, and there were 56. Now, it does not say simplified form. So obviously, this person wants to be able to look back and see that there were 56 total coins. Now, it matters. Remember, we talked about this. When do I simplify? When do I not? When we're working with raw data, we don't want to simplify. We want to be able to look back and say, hey, that was 56 coins, 12 of them were quarters. But when we display our knowledge, when it's saying something like, you know, what was the ratio of, you know, what ratio was quarters, or something where we're kind of putting a ending on our data, okay, where we're saying here's the finality, final look at our data, and we're saying that quarters were 3-to-1 to dimes. You know what I mean? Like when we've finished compiling all our data. Now these questions don't necessarily lead to that, to deciding one or the other. That is why I give both answers in this. And we're going to be working that way for a while. When we do an actual lab, that's an actual real life situation, then we will see the difference between when we simplify, when we do not. All right, but if I were to simplify this one, it's going to be 3 times 2 times 2, and 56. I did it a different way here, and I want to do it a different way again. So 8, which we know is 3 2s, times 7, cancel out my 2's, and I'm left with a 3 on top and a 14 on the bottom. So our ratio can either be any variation of 12 over 56, you'll see here I have those 3 variations, or any variation of 13 over 14. Okay, now if I want to find the percent, I already have the fractional value. I'm going to go ahead and use this fractional value. It does not matter if you use the 12 or the 12 over 56 or the 3 over 14. You're going to get the same answer because they're the same value. They're what we call equivalent fractions, not equal fractions. Equal fractions mean that they're like in all matters. They look the same, they hold the same value. Equivalent means they look different, but they hold the same value, and that becomes really important as we move towards algebra. All right, so to turn this into a percent, I have to divide the bottom into the top. 14 cannot go into 3, so I put my decimal and my 0. 14 can go into 30 2 times. That's going to be 28, giving me a remainder of 2. I can drop down as many zeros as I want because 3 is the same thing as 3.00, which is what I got going on here. All right? That's the same. They're equivalent values. They may not look the same, but they're equivalent values. They're both for $3. 14 can go into that 1 time. I need to round up to the nearest percent. So I'm going to do this one more time, and it's going to be 4. 4 does not round that 1 up, so it's just going to stay as 21%. All right, in this one, it's the ratio of non-quarters to total coins. Well, got to come up here. If 12 are quarters, then that leaves 44 as non-quarters. So you could have done your ratio based off of 44 over 56, or you could have reduced that to 2 times 2 times 11 over 2 times 2 times 2 times 7. Cross out your two twos, and you have 11 over 14. So it's either 44 over 56, some variation of it as you see here, or it's 11 over 14, some variation of it. But to turn that into a percent, again, I have to divide. Now look at this. This fraction, 3 isn't even half of 14. So I know my percentage has to be less than 50%. This one, 11, is more than half of 14. So my percentage better be more than 50% because half of 14 is 7 and I'm at 11. I'm way more than half. I need to be higher when I do it. So I'm going to put a decimal and a 0. 14 goes into 110. Let's estimate 7 times. 7, 8, 9. 12 is my leftover. Add another 0. And we are going to say 8 times. So that is going to be 8 times 4 is 32. 8, 9, 10, 11. Leaving me with a leftover 8. And I can go another one. This one was not rounded correctly, I don't think. Let's see. Actually, it might have been. Let's do 5. That's going to be 20, 70. Yep, it was. So I get the decimal of this, and I move my decimal 2 places. That 5 is going to round that up to 79%. The 5 rounds up. Ooh, too far. RJ has a spinner. There are 8 sections on the spinner. Red takes up 3 sections on the spinner. Blue takes up 2. This is the same as... Oh, I guess it's not the same. I thought we had one like this. All right, and then white takes up 1. So the percent of red, well, first we got to find red. Well, I'm going to actually write my stuff here. Red is 3, blue is 2. Make it easier for me to see, right? Green is 2 and white is 1, giving me a total of 8. All right. So if I want to know the percents have to be the part over the total. So I know all these are going to be 8 because they reflect a total. First one's red, so it's 3 over 8. Got to divide those. That goes in 3 times, which is 24. Drop down a 6 and drop down a 0. That's going to be 7 times, which is 56. That's going to give me a 4. That's going to be 5 times, and it ends there. So that's going to round that up to 38%. The 5 rounds up. Okay. And this one I got to pick out what is blue. Well, blue is 2. It's going to be over the total because it says to be over the total. So 2 over 8. Now look at this. I could divide this and that would be totally okay. Or I could reduce this down to 1/4. And that's one of the ones that you should have memorized. That's just 25%. Now, if I were to just divide it out, that goes in 2 times. 2, 0. 4 goes into 25 times. I would have still gotten 25%. All right, so these numbers are the same for green. Green is also 2, so that one's kind of a give me. All right, so this one is half of 25% because this is half of 2. The one is half of 2, but let's go ahead and work it out. Good. That goes in there 1 time, which is 8, 2. That goes in there 2 times, which is 16, 4. Drop a 0. That goes in it 5 times. So move your decimal 2 places, 12.5, which the 5 rounds it up to 13%. Last one in this book. In the classroom, there are 27 students. 9 are girls. What percent are girls? That's 9 over 27. Let's go ahead and divide that. If you reduce that down to 1/3, you might also know that it's just 33% because of what it is. All right, I'm going to say that can go in 3 times. That's going to be 6, 7, 8, 81, giving me 9. Oh, look, it's the same number again, so I know it's going to be 3 again. 81, it's 9. Oh, no, it's going to repeat over and over and over again. It's always going to be another 3. Well, let's go ahead and move our decimal. So 33.3%. The 3 is too low, so it stays the same, 33%. What are the percent of boys? Well, if there are 9 girls, that leaves us with 18 boys, which is what I have here. Okay, so let's divide that one. All right, that's 6 times. So 7 times that is 42. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That is going to be borrow 8, 1, 18. Let's put another 0. That's going to be 6 again. That's the same thing. 162. Oh no, I'm going to get the same thing again. It's going to be another 6. So this is 66.6%. Okay, because I moved that decimal 2 places. This is going to round it up to the 67, not keep it the same. All right, that's all for this worksheet. Keep practicing till you feel like you got it down. If you need more help, just let me know, and I will see you guys in class.